Just when Rangers' season couldn't get any sweeter, the last 16 of the Europa League is upon us. There is only one more game to be completed before we know every team that Rangers can possibly get. But anyway, we had to jump the gun because I'm not waiting for Feyenoord or Roma, because you know why? Rangers, the blue side of Glasgow, will wipe the floor with either side of them. But there is 8 teams to get stuck into for Rangers tomorrow's draw at 11 a.m. And I think there's some favourable ones in there. I would probably label...
Well, right now there's 9 until Feyenoord or Roma bite the dust.
That's true, but you can't play 2 teams at once at the end of the day. But for me, I think Rangers have got a decent chance of making the quarterfinals, and today we're going to go through every single team. Because if you look at it, high-scoring ties in every game that was played.
Could argue it means all these teams have good offences, but you could also argue that the defence is absolutely shite.
Could argue that indeed. So we may as well start from the top with the game that's currently ongoing.
That sounded very Yankee, didn't it?
What?
Offense and defense.
Ah, yes, sir. Patrick Mahomes. But anyway,
touchdown, baby.
Feyenoord Roma. Celtic beat, and
I'd say they're on a similar level. Obviously, I think Roma's the better side, but I don't think there's that much of a difference.
No. Rangers
would obviously rather come up against Feyenoord, but I mean, I don't think you'd be crying your eyes out if you got Roma.
Yeah.
We'll
not Mourinho anymore. So.
Well, yeah. We'll just move on to the teams that we'll come back to Roma and Feyenoord at the end. Alrighty, AC Milan defeated Rennes by 5-3 on aggregate. I would go as far as saying out of the teams that were in the knockout round, AC Milan are probably the strongest team here, and therefore that is a team that Rangers want to avoid if they want a good run in this competition. However, I don't think Rangers should be fearing AC Milan. I don't think they should believe they can't beat AC Milan. It will be a tough tie. Rangers would be underdogs, no doubt about it. But I think they could do it. I think they could cause the upset. And even if they didn't, it's going to be 2 massive games. Milan coming to Ibrox, going to Milan. Yeah, it's 2 massive ties here. And it's a tie that the club would relish and the fans would relish. And sometimes you actually prefer them over the easy tie. So, I mean, AC Milan, I think you want to avoid them. But if you get them, then I think you've got to look at the positives. And the positives is it's like a massive European fixture.
Tough tie, no doubt about it, but doable. I don't see why Rangers can be going into AC Milan fearing the worst. You could get Real Madrid. AC Milan, they're AC Milan, but they're not top tier, and I think if you're in Europa League, you aren't really top tier. Liverpool obviously are, but we can't get them yet. We can only get them in the quarter-final, but I think Liverpool are probably the only team that's left that I would consider as like a top team in Europe. Would you agree with that?
A Champions League side playing in the Diddy competition?
Aye, but AC Milan are a Champions League team, absolutely. But for me, if we got AC Milan, it wouldn't be the end of the world, because I still think there's a possibility. But moving on, we've got Lens and Freiburg, which Freiburg went through in, and I would fancy Rangers against Freiburg. I don't know about you.
Having a really good season, though, in the Bundesliga, Freiburg, I believe.
They are. Absolutely they are. But again, if Rangers can go and beat Leipzig and Dortmund, I know it's 2 years ago and it's a different team and all that, malarkey, I would fancy Rangers against Freiburg.
Oh, they're favourites, I think, but I wouldn't say it's an easy tie.
It's like a 55-45, isn't it?
In favour of Rangers?
I'd say just narrowly. Moving into Sporting Lisbon, who done us a favour by knocking out a Swiss team. Again, a tough team, but not exactly the hardest team. Rangers beat them, in 2008 in the UEFA Cup, so why not do it here?
Why not do it again? Beat them once, you can beat them again. Sporting, probably the 3rd best team in Portugal, so yeah, it would be a tough tie for Rangers, but it's a game where I believe they would be marginal favourites. Not a lot in it, but I would probably give Rangers the edge, and I'd say that's probably where Scottish football is at the moment. I think the Old Firm are probably on par with the best teams in Portugal. I think they're a little bit behind Benfica and Porto, but I do believe they're just as good as Sporting. So we'll see. I think if you could get Sporting, I think you would take Sporting. Speaking of Portuguese sides, Benfica defeated Toulouse by 2-1. But I'm thinking outside of Milan here, and possibly Roma. I think Benfica are the team that you want to avoid. They are a bit better than Sporting. They are arguably the best team in Portugal. Tough tie. And, they're beatable, but I think there's definitely teams you would rather get in this draw rather than Benfica.
Yeah, Rangers, remember a couple of years ago in Europa League, they drew twice with Benfica, 3 each, where they should have won away, and 2 each at Ibrox. Benfica, for me, second best left here, but again, I wouldn't fear them, but you want to avoid them, because up next is the team that Rangers want. Cards on the table, Karabakh. I would have took Braga as well, because Rangers always seem to beat Braga, but Karabakh are 110% the team Rangers want. Now, yeah, if they beat Braga, they must have something about them, but it's Karabakh. I think they're easily the worst team left. Easily.
I would have to agree with that. All the teams that made it through, Karabakh are the team that you want.
Like, I think with Karabakh...
Even going into this round, they were probably the worst team here.
Yes. Aye, and that's including all the eliminated ones.
Yeah.
I think with Karabakh... I think their home ties first for Rangers or whatever. I think Rangers would blow Karabakh away at Ibrox. I'm talking like 4-0.
So you're saying Karabakh's worse than St Johnstone?
I'm saying they're worse than Aris Limassol, but we know how that went. But this is the one I want. Up next, we've got Galatasaray Sparta Prague. Sparta Prague.
Unfinished business.
6-4. Absolutely. I mean, the wee small club for Turkey went out and the smaller club for Prague went through. But Rangers, I mean, they beat them... 2-1 it was, I believe, at Ibrox, and 0-0 away. Now, they were awful in that away game, I can't dispute that, but I don't really rate Sparta Prague. I think Rangers are stronger than they were, those months ago when they took them on, so I think they beat Sparta Prague quite easily.
Those months ago? Oh, a long time ago.
Oh, but do you not agree Rangers are better? Stronger? Because I'm stronger now.
Aye, anyway, and the last time...
Hold on, what's your opinion on Sparta Prague?
I think you'd rather play Sparta than Galatasaray, for sure, yeah.
Alright. But I would say Sparta Prague are probably...
But they beat Galatasaray 4-1, so it can't be that bad.
Galatasaray doing the 10 men, 1 each.
Well, there you go. In the last game, Shakhtar Donetsk lost to Marseille by 5-3. Marseille, the only team from France that got through this round. 4 teams for France and only 1 making it through. To be fair... Out of the fixtures, maybe Marseille were the only team you expected to go through here, but still, not a good showing for France. I'm sure this will affect them in the coefficient. I think Marseille-Rangers would be a tight game, close enough to 50-50, and it would see Clermont return to France as well, so
absolutely.
Yeah, it would be a tasty fixture.
And Rangers got a bit of history with Marseille as well. Again, I think Rangers and Celtic, there's always that discussion about how bad the French league is. I mean, I think they would compete against like the likes of these Lens, Toulouse, Rennes. Absolutely, Marseille probably the best of that bunch, even though Lens did finish second last season. But I wouldn't fear Marseille. Absolutely not. I think with Rangers, you just really want to avoid Milan or Benfica, and I think more or less every other tie is in our favour.
Someone actually commented the other day, how many times can you say I think?
I'll say it as many times as I want to say it, big man.
Well, there you go. I'm glad we cleared that up. But before we go, let's have a quick look at the coefficient, because Scotland are actually in real danger of dropping down. So going into this season, from last season we were 9th. This season we have been overtaken by Turkey. They've jumped up. They're now in at 9th place. And then you've got the likes of Czech Republic, Austria, breathing down our necks. However, going into the following season, we will be losing the 2019-2020 campaign. So the year after next, we're losing 9.75 coefficient points. And unfortunately, project it right now, that's going to drop us down from 10th all the way to 16th, and why that is critical is because in 16th place, not only does the winner not get a group stage spot in the Champions League, you do not automatically qualify, but also second place doesn't get Champions League football. You get put into the Europa League qualifiers, and then it trickles down. Third place in the league, or whoever wins Scottish Cup, doesn't get guaranteed European football either, whether it be Europa League or Europa Conference League. So, yeah, Scotland here for next season and the remainder of this season, we need to perform. We need to do our best in Europe. We need to get these coefficient points up. Last season was a disaster. We only earned 3.5, and that's pretty much set us back. You look at like Turkey last year, who earned 11.8. You know, it's a massive difference there. So, yeah, we are in danger. That 3.5 is going to be stuck with us for the next 4 seasons. Not a lot we can do about it. We're probably going to have to overachieve in Europe for the next 3-4 seasons in a row, just because of how bad the 2022-2023 campaign was. And I like seeing 3 Scottish teams in the group stages of European football. I'd like to see more progress and be in Europe past Christmas, but I mean, I think right now to improve and to progress past Christmas, the main thing, what we need to do is be in it. And if we drop down the coefficients, then I mean, that's going to make it even harder for us to get past the Christmas period because you need to qualify. You actually need to earn your way into the group stage. So I think it's crucial that we keep our coefficient places because, I mean, you look at the last time we dropped it was Scottish football in Europe. The showings were really, really poor. So I think the easiest way to improve and build on this would be to stay high up the coefficients. So yeah, we've got about, half a season and a half to do that. So yeah, we need a big, big season here. We need Rangers to push on, earn as many points as possible. And then next season, we really do need whoever is contributing to the coefficient points to step up and get some big wins. And there's just too many games that Scottish teams lose that we should be winning. Even in the qualifiers, every point adds up. You look at like Hibs losing to that fucking team from Andorra or Gibraltar, wherever they were from. Sometimes Rangers, you'll see them in the qualifiers, they'll lose their first tie against a shit team, and then they bring it back in the second leg. But those are needless games that Scottish teams are throwing away when in reality
look at Rangers
they should be winning.
Man. 1 point against Aris Limassol.
Yeah, it's just not good enough. Rangers,
But again, I'm not going to bury Rangers for the coefficient.
No, I'm not going to bury Rangers, but I just think Scottish teams, there's so many winnable games that we don't win.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. And, that's why we need this draw tomorrow to be good.
Who is it? Who was the other team? Was it Dundee United or Motherwell? Who did they not beat? Sligo Rovers, remember
Motherwell.
2 years ago?
Motherwell. Oh, bogging.
It's like we need to be stopping that shit. That should be 2 wins that should be 2 wins on the board for Scotland. So yeah,
we need 2 defeats back to back.
Aye, 2 defeats against Sligo Rovers. We need to cut that shit out. And then, like I said, this season with Hibs, and then Rangers had that bad defeat, didn't they, against that team from, was it Belgium?
Union Saint-Gilloise?
Yeah, Rangers should be beating them. I mean, come on. We need to do better than that.
That's bad, but it's not Sligo Rovers, is it?
No, it's no. Anyway, guys, catch you in the next one. Scottish teams need to improve in Europe, or else we're going to have less teams in Europe, less teams qualifying, less teams in the group stages. We're going to have less Scottish representatives in European football unless we improve. Till next time, peace.